goal hasn't changed since 2009. We support, promote, engage, and inspire the arts community by igniting the ghost light that shines on the stages of the up-and-coming, the unsung heroes, the brilliant writers, and the dynamic designers. Stay tuned. Rep Radio is on the air. Welcome to Rep Radio. I'm your host, Darnell Radford, and today I am not quite sure where I am. I'm trying to think. A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, I'm in Rep Radio's Studio F. And if anyone's paying attention, you probably think Rep Radio has tons of money. We have tons of studios, but these are just the rooms I happen to be in. And this is a room that I don't often record in, so this is Rep Radio Studio F. And so there are quite a bit of podcasts out there in the world, and we have a podcast festival here in Philadelphia, and I've always said, like, I really want some competition, and there aren't really any other podcasts that are talking directly about theater the way I do. But they all don't have my voice, so it's not really a competition anyway. But there are other podcasts with other themes that interest me, and I've always thought that I wanted to get, different sort of themes together, but I don't feel like they fit necessarily under the Rep Radio model. So whenever I hear about another podcast that kind of addresses those themes that I want to be out in the world, then I want to try to reach out to them and help raise their visibility. So I hope we're going to do that here.
Hey, we hope so too.
Yes. So I'm sitting here with two artists. I'm just going to say artists for now, but I'm going to have them.
We'll take it.
Introduce themselves.
Great. So, my name is CJ Higgins. I use they, them pronouns.
And I'm Jenn Adams, and I use she, her, and they, them pronouns.
We are the co-hosts of a podcast called My Gay Agenda, an investigative podcast.
All right. And welcome to Rep Radio.
Thank you for having us.
Excited to be here in the illustrious F studio. The coffee maker was incredible. The fire extinguisher, work of art.
The jacuzzi was a surprise.
I'm very surprised by the jacuzzi.
And it's on the roof, too, which is also weird.
Yeah.
Our microwave sings, though. It is a singing microwave when it chimes.
Have you interviewed the microwave?
No, I
They're
haven't.
also a Philly artist, if you think about it.
Yeah, we'll get to you soon. Just calm down.
Yeah. Us first.
But there are a lot of I get a lot of requests on to come on the podcast, and I'm always like gung ho about it, like right away. Mm-hmm. But they always take some time. There are people that I've been talking to for 9 seasons that I have not had the chance to sit down and talk to yet. So whenever I see them out in public, I'm always like, I'm going to get you. We'll get it.
I got my mic out. Let's go. We're doing this now.
About you. Yeah, but I always find a good time. But the good thing is I can, when I do finally get to them, I can say, oh, so the first time I experienced your work was, and then fill in the gap. And then we can have a nice catch-up. Let's play catch-up.
Yeah.
So My Gay Agenda reached out last year, at the end of last year. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was a really great, it'd be really great to kind of talk about a podcast that's kind of in the wheelhouse of what I wanted to put out myself. And since one exists, why compete?
Yeah,
celebrate.
We don't have to throw up the fisticuffs.
Yes. So tell us about My Gay Agenda.
Sure. So, My Gay Agenda is a part education, part comedy podcast. We interview members of the queer community in order to try to figure out what is on the infamous gay agenda that conservatives love to talk about, because I have been queer for a long time, and I never received anything in the mail. Jen, I don't think you did either.
No, and it's really nice to hear what people think of when we ask them that, because it can range from like really serious stuff about changing how we view gender or changing laws, or there's people who are like, I want to play guitar and spend more time with my cats.
Yeah. And they're like, that's not very gay.
It's pretty gay.
After
I have 7 cats. Oh,
wait a minute. Yeah. So
all
we've
named
been
after dwarfs.
That's adorable and amazing.
Sleepy, happy, dopey, grumpy, sneezy, bashful dog.
I'm so happy.
So My Gay Agenda came out on National Coming Out Day in 2017.
Okay.
Since then, we're close to 50 episodes, I would say, since we're bi-weekly.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We've done now 3 live shows, coming up on a 4th on, I believe it's March 23rd or 30th. I don't have my calendar in front of me. But yeah, it's been just a real treat. We've interviewed a lot of people in the Philadelphia community, a lot of artists, entertainers, comedians, and all of that. But we've also gotten the chance to interview people in Canada and Japan. So we're reaching a pretty broad audience, which is really exciting.
Well, that's really great. So you came out on Coming Out Day.
Yes. That was 100% on purpose.
Yes.
And like a week after I came out.
Yeah.
Like, they came out as bi, and then we did a show about it.
That bi-weekly show.
Yes, also on purpose.
Yes. Yeah.
So what sort of started the idea, and then how long did it take to bring it to life?
I at some point had said the phrase "my gay agenda," and my partner was like, "That should be a podcast." And I was like, "Boy, howdy, I know the person to pitch this to."
So pretty much any of the times we were hanging out after that, we'd be saying goodbye, and they'd be like, "We need to do a podcast together. It'll be called My Gay Agenda." And I was like, haha, yeah. And then I was like, oh, we could do a podcast, actually. So then we sort of brainstormed it together, like what it is we wanted to do, what we wanted to be putting out. And at the end of the day, it was just like we wanted to be promoting other people's voices. Because, like, Jen and I can talk about how gay we are. That could possibly fill up its own podcast.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Decidedly.
But, like, I don't want to limit it to, like, our very narrow experience. Like, we're both from South Jersey. We're both white. Like, we are both in the same profession. Like, we're very similar people. Now we've interviewed, like, people who own their own gym, people who are authors, like, just so many different types of people. And I feel like that has been a lot more of a goal of ours. And that's what started us off and continues to this day.
Plus, if you fan out how gay you are, you'll have a much longer podcast.
That's true. If we talk about, like, every different type of gay, it won't be
here's another way that I'm so gay.
Yeah, it won't be every time us being like, just as bisexual and non-binary as ever. Let's chat.
Sprinkle it in every episode, and then that way, we have plenty of it.
Yeah. It's a long con.
So this table, so we're all gay at this table, which is cool.
Amazing.
We're all from
Love
South
this gay
Jersey
table.
at this table, too.
Hey!
Yeah.
What part of South Jersey?
I am in the Haddonfield area right now.
Okay.
Jen's pretty close by to that. Jen's from California originally, but I have lived in the South Jersey area my entire life.
Cool.
I call it East Philadelphia to the chagrin of everyone who lives in Philadelphia.
Yeah, because if it's I forget what the mileage is. I guess if you take it from Theater Philadelphia's range All of that is Philadelphia.
It's all Philadelphia. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Like, we're right across the bridge. No worries.
I'm a little further south I'm from a little further south in the middle, like Atlantic, Cumberland County.
Oh, wow,
where
yeah.
those two meet.
Yeah.
Spent a lot of time there, and was actually in a space that was that had a restaurant called the Midway Inn, and it was the midway point between Philadelphia and Atlantic City.
That's the most New Jersey thing I've heard this week.
It's
So it was, when I graduated, the thought was, so I am interested in theater and I want to pursue theater. I could either go to Atlantic City for tech theater, or I could go to Philadelphia and be a little bit more creative. I thought I had more creative opportunity in Philadelphia, so I came to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Good choice. Never look back.
Heck yeah.
Love working in Philly. Like, you can really do anything.
Yeah. So, what are some of the topics you tackle on My Gay Agenda?
We've
Or how? What is the format? How is it? What?
Sure.
What is the format?
Yeah, like a typical episode starts with just us introducing. We have our guest lead us on their queer journey. And then we ask them something that they want to tell cis-het people for the last time.
and then never have to hear about it ever again.
Just get it out there. And then we ask their gay agenda item, which, like we said, could be pretty much whatever they want.
Yeah, we really, we put anything into the gay agenda, quite frankly. If they were like, whipped cream, I'm like, great, it's in.
It's gay now. Cool.
Yeah, we don't really discriminate what goes on the agenda, as long as it's not hurting anybody else, which nobody has brought that in. So we're interviewing good people.
Very positive.
Someone's in their kitchen putting whipped cream on ice cream, and they're going, oh.
Dang.
Your ice cream's gay now, figure it out. And then after that, we play a game which Jen, as our quote-unquote camp counselor, always leads the charge on. So yeah, we like to keep it, not lighthearted, because there are a lot of issues that guests have brought in that are really important and do have an impact on their queer journey. Things like sexual assault, or like racism, or like transmisogyny. Like, there's a lot of like politics and things like that. There's a lot of stuff that we don't want to ignore just to be like, we're a comedy podcast, so we have to keep it like that. We're gonna be real about it, which is we at the start of every episode we also add a content warning.
Yes.
Because like I feel
people.
Yeah, I feel very strongly about content warnings. Like I especially like when tackling queer issues. There's some days where like I don't want to hear about assault, or like I don't want to hear about transphobia. Like there's days where like I'm not in the headspace to like hear people discuss it for whatever reason, and I want to give people listening to our podcast like that accessibility. Like they have the option to opt out.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing about these topics is that the topics, in a sense, are evergreen. So if today's not a good day to unpack this podcast that is going to focus on assault, you can find another day where it makes more sense to listen.
Yeah,
but
and you can stop and start a podcast at any time.
Definitely.
Yeah, there's been people I know who have like said that they weren't going to listen to a particular episode, and I'm like, that's fine. Catch us on another one.
Yeah.
This isn't your one? That's absolutely okay.
We'll be just as gay next week. Like,
like we'll talk about other stuff.
I hope you say that.
We do.
Come back, we'll be just as gay next week.
That's part of the sign-off now. Sorry.
No, I like it. I like it a lot.
So you've had 50 episodes.
Not quite there yet.
Close to 50.
Getting there.
Getting there.
Are I'm sure they're all your darlings, but do any stand out as your favorites?
It feels like I'm now trying to pick a different, like a favorite person, because like I feel like if I list a guest, then it's gonna be like, oh well, they liked them more, and it's like, no, that's not the case. I do want to say, like, our first live show, which featured 2018 drag performer of the year, Eric Jaffe. And of course, they gave a spectacular interview, and they played a song, and we had a good time. But that was our first ever live performance, and, like, I have podcasting experience, but that was my first time doing a live show, really. And I had no idea where it was going to go. If it was with the Philadelphia Podcast Festival, and like I had no idea, like, is anyone going to show up?
Yes.
Are we going to be able to hold people's attention live for about an hour? Like, I had no idea how it was going to look. And the room was just full of people, first of all, which was great. Yeah. But just, like, absolute love. Like, we came on and started singing the theme song, and people sang along with us.
Oh,
and I was like...
Great.
They're not just here because, like, you know, this person's my friend. Like, they're listeners.
That's
like,
right.
They know the song. Like, they like what we're doing, and they find comfort and happiness in it. And I thought that was really beautiful, and it sort of, like, set the way for, like, future episodes. It was nice to... I mean, you can put out a podcast and you don't know, like, is one person, is a million people listening? Yeah. But it was nice to, like, sort of see that, like, actualized.
Yeah.
Jen?
Gosh. See, I'm more of a narcissist, and I rank the episodes more by, like, how did the minigame go?
That's really fair.
Even then, though, I think the live shows are definitely my favorites, just because we have the extra energy in the room, and, like, I just love hearing people react and laugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Laughter gives me life. So,
And in terms of the games for the live show, we usually end it with what we call Queer Congress, where audience members can pitch what they think should be on the gay agenda, and then the people on stage discuss and either yay or nay it. And it, like, you get the people who are like, is sushi gay? And we're like, of course, next question. And those are really fun. We also get the people who, like, actually bring stuff that, like, really matters to them, and then they get to hear a room of people be like, oh my god, yes. And, like, that's really sweet. Like, it's nice to be a platform for people to scream about stuff they care about.
Well, that's really great. So how far into it did you realize you had an audience?
We had, after like a couple of months of putting the we, like, have a Facebook page. If you're on Facebook, go like us. But we started in October of 2017. Then in January of 2018, which was a very small handful of months later, we got 500 likes.
Good.
And it was, like, weird because I don't see a lot of, like, I never imagined that a page that, like, I started would reach 500 likes, not because I'm like, oh, I'm awful or anything like that, but, like, because, like, I don't know, it's something Jen and I do for fun, like, we think it's important, but, like, we're not podcast professionals or anything like that. We're not, like, trained in podcasting. I sort of figured out Audacity as I went, but I was like, oh, people are following us on a platform. Huh.
I was a radio major for half a semester, then I bounced out of there real fast. So this is
come to theater.
That's exactly what happened.
Literally.
I think the moment for me was when we had our first guest from a different state, and not just any different state, but, like, Washington State, all the way
over there.
Because before that, we'd mostly interviewed, like, acquaintances of ours, and then suddenly it was just, like, a stranger on the other side of the country was like, can I be on your show? And we were like, yes, of course.
And we hadn't done much outreach on, like, trying to recruit guests at that point, besides, like, we tweeted or something like that, like, hey, if you want to be on the show. And, like, the first couple of episodes, we, like, said the same, just to, like, build our base. So they had to have listened to us in order to find that information out.
Yeah. That's cool.
Wild.
And I think now people are definitely more aware of podcasts. When I started 9 seasons ago, it was like the beginning of some comedians had podcasts, and they were the ones getting, like, most of the attention.
Yeah.
But it was really hard to find a podcast that was specifically speaking to what it was you wanted to hear about.
Yeah.
And when we started, at first, we just simply said, you know what, we're just going to put it out. You can put it out and post it on our channels. And if people listen, they listen. If not, but we're going to pretend that we're the audience. So when we find out that other people are listening, then that's just the icing, in a sense. But I feel like the number one compliment or the sign of validation you get is if someone says, "Oh, I love your podcast. I listen to it when I'm doing laundry." Or, or some kind of housework. It's just
that
like,
is high praise. If somebody's day is improved by listening to your podcast.
Like, it helps me get through this laundry. Okay.
Yeah.
Housework?
I'll take it.
Or a commute.
A commute, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that had always been my thought. I don't know if you had given any thought to, like, how, your time frame and how long it was going to be.
We didn't really set out with, like, a specific time frame. Our episodes usually last somewhere between 35 and 45 episodes. Christ. Minutes. We don't really time it out that much. We just kind of, especially since, like, we don't want to cut somebody off if they're, like, talking about something. Like, if we're trying to give people a voice, then it doesn't make sense to be like, sorry, time's up. But hurry up, though.
You're like...
Can you hurry it up talking about transphobia? Like, I'm busy. But it just so happens that we tend to wrap up around that time, but, like, I don't try to rush anybody or anything like that.
We've also had some guests who get through it so fast.
Yeah. And then,
that
made me so nervous at first, because I felt like the people we were talking to were just ready to give us quick answers.
Yeah.
So it was like, was it tough to do these rehearsals? And you're like, no. Yes. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
So we had to learn to be more open-ended with the questions. So it's like, tell me about rehearsal process, at least for me. Allows them to say more about what's going on. So that they know, I'm just going to leave this mic on as long as you have something to say. Yeah. It's not about me. I'm trying my best to be.
Yeah. There's been times where, like, usually, like, whenever we're interviewing somebody, I like to email them in advance and be like, what are some subjects that interest you? So I know, like, what to ask about and things like that.
Yeah.
And I remember at least one instance where somebody was like, oh, I'd love to talk about this, this, and this. And I'm like, amazing. And then I went to ask them about it, and they gave me, like, no answer at all, and, like, it was really obvious that they were no longer interested in talking about it. I'm like, great, moving right along. And, like, I hope that it doesn't read like that, like I was trying to probe a subject they're not interested in, but I was like, I'm not going to press them further on this. Like, answer can change day to day, so, like, I get it if you don't want to talk about it anymore. That's fine. When we were our first couple of episodes, we were very much like, oh, educate us about your experience. Like, we'd be like, oh, can you define this word and stuff like that? And I've felt us naturally going away from that. I don't know if you see the same thing, Jen, but, like...
definitely.
Yeah, I feel like that makes more sense for us now, because I think that if we're trying to give people a space to, like, chat with queer people about, like, stuff you care about, then part of that safe space is not insisting that they be an educator in that moment.
Yeah.
Like, if they don't want to be, they don't want to be.
And, like, occasionally we'll still define stuff as a side note, but we've gotten away from that even, too. But the cool thing about a podcast is, like, someone, unless they're driving, can, like, pause and be like, what does this word mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've left it a little bit up. We've left it entirely not up to the person we're interviewing anymore. We'll sometimes do it ourselves if it feels natural and if we got that in us on that day. If not, I trust our listeners who don't know quite what that means to go on a completely free and accessible resource for finding out information, the World Wide Web.
Discover more information. The good thing about it is that, for one, if they're listening, they're already interested.
Yeah.
To know. And
don't gotta push them much farther than that.
There is this assumption, when you give the assumption that you already know, in whatever it is you're saying, then there's something that clicks in your head that just like, oh yeah, You're on the side trying to make sure that, okay, so when I relay this back, I want to make sure that I understand that part I got stuck on. So where do you see this podcast going? Or what does it do for you?
So I have been out, first I came out in 2009 as bisexual, and then I came out about a year or two ago as non-binary, and any of the times that I came out, I chose to be more, like, vocal about it, because when I came out as bisexual, there was not a lot of, like, public knowledge about it at the time, but I would get people, like, trying to talk to me privately, like, how did you know you were bisexual? Because, like, I've been feeling these feelings and I don't know what to do. And I get them now to this day, both about my bisexual and non-binary identities. And in that, like, that is why I chose to be vocal about it. But, like, that's what I get from this podcast, is that I realize that there is this need for queer voices to be out there, because, like, even with the fact that, like, we have resources and stuff like that, first of all, they're becoming outdated all of the time. Like, past episodes of ours probably are already outdated. But second of all, like, then we're giving other people the information that they need and also the permission to be themselves by saying, hey, we've met people who are like you. We just talked to them for 40 minutes and played games with them. And, like, if you hear about their experience and realize that it was yours too, amazing. Like, I really appreciate that as something I try to do, because people did it for me when I was questioning, and I think that we should all be passing that validation along.
Yeah.
We joke, there's a running joke that this podcast has only made us gayer. But, like, actually... I know that, I don't think I would have necessarily got to thinking of my own gender critically, at least not for a long while, if we hadn't been, like, interviewing people and talking to them about gender, and then I started thinking, like, oh, that sounds kind of familiar, or, like, oh, hey, I like what they said about this, and it's just built into a moment of just, like, oh, also me, I guess.
I definitely recognized earlier on when I was sitting across from an artist who was also queer or LGBTQIA. Is it 2 A's? Or 3 A's?
It depends on who you ask.
That my tone changed a little bit, and maybe I was a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah.
Because we were on this level playing field that is different from, okay, we're both artists. Okay, we're both in the theater community. But because, at least on Rep Radio, there isn't a reason for me to impart the personal me in when we're just talking about, when I'm trying to find the themes of a production you're a part of, or just talking about, this is about you. This isn't about me.
Sure, yeah.
And I'm always trying to minimize whatever. I'll even go back and edit whenever I feel like I've been a little wordy. Only because I want to make sure that this platform is featuring the talent.
Sure, yeah.
And not me. This isn't just me just rambling. I can create something else for me to just ramble on. But they are definitely more fun because of just the various ways that it goes, where we definitely understand what we're talking about. We go, okay, yeah, I remember that, or it's a quote, or it's a line that's very, like, part of the queer lexicon. When something comes out like that.
We both work with a lot of other queer artists. Like, I work very frequently with the Hub and Bards Theatre Troupe, which is specifically, like, queer centric.
Yeah.
And there's, like, I totally agree with you. There's something different about being in a space with, like, queer people, because it feels like the cis normativity and, like, heteronormativity of, like, the world and, like, people within it sort of, like, feels like our existence is a burden of proof. Like, we have to be proving ourselves all the time.
Yeah.
But you're in a room with, like, queer people, and it's like, I don't have to prove myself to you. Like, you never have to prove yourself to anybody, but that feeling of obligation is gone, because, like, you know that the other people around you have your back, because, like, they are on the same, like, they're in that struggle themselves. So it's like, we're all, like, validating each other. In the ideal scenario. There's internalized homophobia and transphobia. Yes, absolutely, I get that. But in the ideal world, we are all supporting each other and all have each other's backs.
So when you're not focused on my gay agenda, what are the other parts of your life? Like, what else are you interested in? What else do you do?
Oh, well, definitely theater. Golly. When you asked about other things, I immediately just reacted very viscerally, because doing the freelance artist thing, I have about, 20 day jobs, it feels like.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. So it's just very...
I think my audience can relate. Yeah. It's wearing many hats.
Yeah.
So many hats.
Well, you wear a lot of hats in, theater for young audiences.
Yeah, a lot of children's theater hats for me. Yeah, which is fun. A lot of, cow-shaped hats, it seems like. Dressing up as an animal and teaching them about colors. That seems to be where I found my niche. Yeah. I'm either screaming about how gay I am, or teaching a kid about bubbles.
Yes.
My two settings.
That sounds like a good balance.
I enjoy it.
Because if you infuse being gay with the bubbles, then that's pretty awesome too.
Whenever I can. Like, if a little boy is like, I can't use that costume piece because it's pink, I'll just be like, why not?
Why not?
Let's talk about this child.
Let's unpack this 4-year-old.
Yeah.
I need a minute. Give me the room.
Turning on the PowerPoint presentation, and here we go.
Bam. It just says work. That is all.
Yep.
Yeah.
How did you get a pink slide so quickly? I'm always ready.
How.
Always ready.
As for myself, I'm also on that freelance life vis-a-vis theater. I do have a part-time job in arts administration, but otherwise I do specifically a lot of devised theater and musical theater. Like I mentioned before, I am a founding member and board member of the Bards Theatre Troupe. I also do a lot of work with the Ebenezer Maxwell Mansion.
Okay.
I have done shows with them for a couple of years now, and am getting ready to do 2 this year, so that's just nice. But yeah, otherwise, like, it's a lot of going places, writing things, singing songs. Jen and I have done a couple of devised shows together.
Yes.
Both of them were very specifically gay as well, so don't worry. We put that everywhere. It's going all over the place. We're not quiet people.
Yeah.
Gosh, no.
No.
Well, that's good. I mean, it definitely in a community where we've had a couple of, well, I wouldn't call them fits and starts, but we've had several
I'd say fits and starts.
gay and lesbian theater festivals throughout the years that, for some reason or another, the people who had originated them move on to other things.
Sure.
And a couple of seasons ago, we lost the last one. We miss you, Rich. Queen's Productions.
Yeah, that's right.
So when there are these pockets, and especially as so much more of theater is embracing the queer community, it definitely is. It is a good feeling that we're getting to a point. We're not quite there yet, but we're in a point where it is, in a sense, a little bit closer to normalized.
Yeah.
Than we were, say, like 5 or 10 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like even just speaking about, like, the Philly theater community, like, the Barrymore Committee took a lot of steps in terms of that. The biggest one being the gender neutrality of the Best Actor Awards, which I thought was a really cool step because, like, you saw, like, I mean, it was mostly, like, binary genders represented, but, like, you saw, like, non-binary people who, like, originally it would have been weird to categorize them, and then it's like, no, we have that space for them now. And it was, like, really nice seeing them honored, in a very deliberate, specific way. And I think that in order for, like, if we're trying to, even in theater and beyond and everything, it's important to, like, have our voices in the room and not just be like, oh, we're going to be inclusive, but you have to take active steps toward inclusion. It is work. It's a lot of work, but you have to put in the work. Otherwise, you're just going in with, like, the attitude, but there is actually no space for us.
Yeah. And we also have to support more organizations that are, whose missions are promoting the queer community as well.
Yeah.
And I feel like I have, over the years, tried to focus in on specific works that are being brought to the stage for their particular sort of peer into certain communities that don't always get a lot of visibility. And it's been a joy to kind of find you know, Simpatico's here, and also Simpatico actually has done quite a few in the past season. I'm drawing a blank on the podcast one.
Just trust them. They did it.
Yes. I know. I'll probably be editing this part out.
I do some box office work. As I mentioned, I have a part-time job. And one of them is at Theater Horizon. So, like, I am at the front of house a lot for them. And Theater Horizon has done a lot of work that is not actively like, this is about gay and being gay. But there are shows that, like, have queer characters in them, like we just did The Color Purple, where, like, two of the main characters, like, are in love with each other, and, like, it's very actively shown without the story being like, Seeley's gay, watch! The same was with White, and which was James Imes' piece about, like, race and art, but, like, two of the main characters in that were also in a queer relationship. And for both of those shows that I mentioned, there has been people who were, like, even though it was not the subject matter of the show, brought it up, either positively or negatively. But, like, even if the point of your show is not, this is gay, like, or even if queer issues are not at the center of your story, you can still incorporate them, absolutely. Like, you could still, like, show our stories, and, like, the main thing in my life isn't that I'm gay. That might surprise a lot of people.
It's not?
I know. But I do other things. I have a ukulele. Like, I have hobbies and a job. I have many jobs.
Yeah.
My whole life isn't that I'm gay.
You largely use the ukulele to sing about being gay.
So you have to call me out right now, right?
Yeah,
like,
we're doing this here.
We're doing this here? Great.
And you know, the representation doesn't have to always be positive either.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you know, there are people in our community who aren't that great.
Yeah, in White, the main character,
Yes,
he's gay, and he is a mess, a garbage human being. He is not good. Like, he's not our protagonist. He is simply the lens through which we're watching it.
Honestly, just good writing and storytelling is that if you don't have one character to represent an entire community, they can be whatever kind of character you want because they're not representing an entire community.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
If you don't have just one gay character, that gay character can have flaws. And I mean, clearly, even if you have only one, they should have flaws and be, I don't know, human.
Like, multidimensional.
But, like, yeah, if you don't have just, like, token characters, you don't have to worry about that. Then you can have characters who are terrible people and good people and in-between people.
Yeah.
Definitely. So you talked about Bards Theatre Troupe, and we are getting very close to Philadelphia Theatre Week, and
yes, we are.
Bards has a piece in Philly Theater Week. Do you want to talk about it?
I sure can. If we're talking about gay stuff, buckle up, because the show is called We'll Sleep When We're Dead. It posits a future in which humans have evolved beyond the need for sleep. So it sort of explores like what the world looks like when we stop sleeping after childhood. And it focuses on a lot of issues, but specifically it's very actively a queer story. Again, the subject matter is not like they're gay, but with the two main characters are women and they fall in love, and like it's a lot about like their love story and things like that, but it's not like the love story where it's like, oh, but can I have these feelings? What is being attracted to women? They're just in love. I play a character, Dr. Tyler Hero, who is non-binary like me and uses they, them pronouns like me. There's a character that we don't ever see, but she is referenced many, many, many times. She uses she, her pronouns, but her name is Mark. So like we take a lot of liberties in terms of like who it is we're representing, and like in this story and like in all of our work, like we actively try to promote like queer voices and experiences and things like that, because you are going to meet somebody named Mark with she, her pronouns. You are going to meet a museum curator who uses they, them pronouns. You're going to meet two women in love. Yeah. So might as well come to the show and meet us there. There's also going to be a lot of glitter and singing. Yes. It's going to be fabulous. After this interview, I am going to rehearsal. Like, great. Immediately after. I'm really excited about the show.
Come for the glitter, stay for the rest.
True. Honestly.
That's my MO.
Yeah.
If you're on the fence, there will be glitter.
Yes. Yes.
Sold. Just kidding. I already reserved my tickets yesterday.
Yay! Oh, and it's pay what you decide. So you can, or pay what you can. So you can pay any amount to come see this show. We also love making our shows financially accessible. So
it's great.
Yeah.
And we'll have information for We'll Sleep When We're Dead.
You got it.
We'll have the links on the website as well, along with this episode.
Hooray.
Yeah, so I always, I try to wrap up by asking what creates a sense of urgency for you as an artist, as an individual today? Like, what gives you that driving force to move forward with the things you do and the things that you're involved in?
I think fighting back against silence.
Mm-hmm. As somebody who works with children so frequently, I think it's just the moments where I can offer them, I don't know, we've said representation so much, but like
that's all we're doing.
Yeah, I consider theater personally as empathy 101.
Yeah.
So anytime I can help somebody feel what somebody else is feeling or understand what somebody else is feeling, that's it for me.
Well, that's great. That's how I feel as well. That's why my theater company is called Represented, and that's
nice.
why we're called Rep Radio. That was the whole foundation of what we're doing.
See, he uses the word represented too. We're allowed. He has given us this space.
Yes. You now have permission. But then again, you always have permission.
Thank goodness we got it at the end of the episode.
Yes.
Honestly, though, I'm like a queer vampire, and I need to hear those words.
You have permission.
Excellent.
Anything else you want to add before we wrap up?
I guess we can plug our social media.
Yes,
My Gay Agenda.
How do we get connected? How do we stay connected to My Gay Agenda?
Sure. You can find My Gay Agenda on iTunes. It is just called My Gay Agenda, an investigative podcast. That is also our name on Facebook. So if you're on iTunes, you can listen to us like on Apple Podcasts and all that stuff. We are on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Our handle is Gay Agenda Cast. If you would like to support queer artists in a fiscal way, we also have a Patreon where we post just fun, exclusive content, and you can join for as little as $1 a month in order to help us do what we do for literally no money.
And you get free mini podcasts and art.
Yeah, and stickers.
And stickers, my favorite.
Yeah. Because none of this is cheap, even though you get it for free.
Yep. You get it for free. It does cost us money. So
and time.
and time. So yeah, just come look for us. And if you are a queer person who would like to be interviewed on My Gay Agenda, you can simply shoot us an email at info, like short for information, at mygayagendapodcast.com. And just let us know who you are, and we'll figure something out. We want to get your voice out there.
Great. Well, thank you for taking the time to come here and share your podcast and your voices.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
With our listeners here on Rep Radio. CJ, Jen, thank you so much for being on Rep Radio.
Thank you.
Rep Radio continues to be inspired by our community and listeners like you. You can support our work through our fiscal sponsor, Fractured Atlas, and through our Patreon page. Visit repradio.org/donate for more. Stay tuned. You know the rest.